Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you the New York Jets are back. Oh man, a brutal drubbing at home to the Buffalo Bills. In this game, it was a weird type of blowout. We've seen lots of different types of blowouts if you're a Jet fan. This one was weird. It reminded me of, have you ever seen the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, where he's in the bathroom just beating on himself, and the guy walks in and it's like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm kicking my own ass." That's what the Jets spent 4 quarters doing. They were kicking their own ass. Now, obviously, the Bills are an awesome team. The Bills are probably going to be in a conference championship this year. They're going to win the division for the 10th year in a row, whatever. That's all good and well, but it felt like the Jets were fighting themselves in this game. I mean, you could have put Mitch Trubisky in this game and the Bills would have boat raced the Jets all the same. Josh Allen didn't have to do anything of MVP caliber in this win. This was brutal. And I think that the thing that we're looking at the most, we're evaluating the most during the season, or at least my opinion, was coaching staff. Do you find out if you have a coaching staff at the end of the year? If Fields can pop, that's like an added bonus cherry on top. But, dude, unprepared, undisciplined, just the same things are so frustrating. Number one, from a coaching point, look, you know the teams are going to stack the box against the Jets. We know that. Every week they're going to face a stacked box. Last week, they were like the 7th or 8th highest in the number of stacked boxes they faced. They still were able to run the ball. But the Bills were not just stacking the box. The Bills were doing something very, very different in this game. The Bills corners were run blitzing on first down. I don't know if I've ever seen that. They were run blitzing their corners on first down. So now they were telling you, if you want to throw it on first down, we're going to go single high. We're going to run blitz a corner, pick a side, run blitz a corner to just get the numbers in the backfield against your run or your read option. And you can have an easy pitch and catch before the safety gets over there. You can have an easy pitch and catch if you want to throw it on first down. And you can see the corners, they're aligning so far inside the receivers, and they're like almost like edge rushers trying to jump the snap. How you don't notice that from a coaching perspective, number one, from a quarterback, number two, or for the receiver to say, like Alan Lazard say, "Hey, dude, like this guy is lining up 2 yards inside to my right shoulder, giving me the outside. He's clearly blitzing." And they could not take away. So that is way different than, oh, you have to stay balanced against teams that are going to. No. That isn't. Teams do not do that. That was the Bills said. We saw that you ran the ball on 82% of your first downs, and we're just going to come crashing down, and we're going to make the bet that you're going to run. We're going to do that to set up third and longs. And if you want to throw it on first down, you can have your free yards. We don't believe you're going to do it. And once, okay, that happens once, twice, they did it. And then by the second half, it didn't even matter because the game was already over, but they did it for a whole half. They were run blitzing their corners. I've never seen that. I've truly never seen that. So the fact that they were unable to make that adjustment was tough. From a coaching perspective, that's one of the most frustrating things just right away. Fields, he had his best game ever in terms of EPA per play. His first game as a Jet in 46 career starts. This game, it was his worst game ever. And this is kind of why, like, the moral victory is BS. The moral victory is a lie, because if you were to able to win week 1, then you're like, you know what? We're going to burn this tape. We're 1-1. Let's go to Tampa. But now it's getting late early. Now you're going to Tampa for your season. If you lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, your season is over. Now we'll still watch. We'll still hope the young players get better. The coaching staff, I don't think a lot of us expected the Jets were going to make some deep playoff run this year, but you want to at least hang around, because if you lose to Tampa, it's curtains. It's Jover. It's all she wrote. If you lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there will be no copium about that. You cannot go 0-3. So that's the difference. Now you're saying, oh, well, so if it was just 160-yard field goal and the season would be way different, I don't know what to tell you, man. You can't be 0-2. You can't be 0-2. And the team that you lost to, the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not like we're going to go back and say, oh, you lost to the Eagles. The Steelers are not even going to make the playoffs this year, probably. Did you see them lose by 2 touchdowns to Sam Darnold? While Aaron Rodgers had like 5.8 yards per attempt and threw 2 picks. Same guy who hit us for four tutties. Is so Fields obviously just didn't look comfortable, didn't look just all the things in week one. It was the opposite. The offensive coaching had no counterpunch to when the Bills started just run blitzing their corners. And then obviously you have like the fumbles there, and now Fields is concussed because in the second half, they decided to block Joey Bosa one-on-one with rookie Mason Taylor, a rookie 21-year-old tight end with an ankle injury. We're going to lead you on an island with their best pass rusher. Great. Like, why would you do that? And there was a couple of drops mixed in there. I mean, it's just offense. I mean, I think they had like two or three plays in the third quarter on offense. So it feels through like 11 passes or whatever. I mean, they had a total of 150 yards ish on offense and 10 points. But if you take away the garbage time drive by Tyrod Taylor, this team put up 3 points and 100 yards of offense through about 55 minutes of football. So this was a Tim Boyle and Nate Hackett level offensive output. However, I think what has almost been more disappointing throughout the first 2 games of the season, because the offense at least has one game where they really showed out. So you're hoping with the offense and with Fields that the truth is somewhere in the middle, which is like, okay, you're going to be an offense that can score 21 points a game and be all right. But this defense, I mean, Steve Wilks, somebody commented that they'd rather have John Wilkes Booth be the defensive coordinator than Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks needs to be in Bible study before take off next Sunday and spend the afternoon with the Lord. I mean, my goodness, we can't, dude. And this is like, at least Robert Saleh's defense is waited until like past Thanksgiving to lay down like that. This is your home game against a divisional opponent. It felt like the Jets had a Super Bowl hangover after their moral victory. This is one of the problems with this franchise, is because they get like high off their own supply, like because they almost won. We almost won, so now it was like a letdown game. After the emotional high of almost winning, they come out flat. Something has to change in the DNA of this franchise for that to stop being the case. And so the defense is horrific. First drive, Michael Clemens. And I have a video uploaded on this channel. I want you to go to it, and I want you to spam it with comments, negative comments, where I'm like, oh, well, Michael Clemens, maybe he could be a decent role player. He was okay in 2022. So what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I was saying this. It's a mental illness. I clearly have it too. It's like a hangover. You forget that headache the next day. It's horrible. Michael Clemens, how, bro? First of all, it was like Josh Allen flops. That's textbook roughing the passer. They're always going to call that, and what the officiating crew is. It's the most flag happy officiating crew in the league. And you take multiple, and it's a 3rd and 19. And look, man, I know he made all his kicks. I think he did, right? Prater. But the Bills just signed this dude like off the couch. Like it was going to be, what, a 47-yarder? That's not an automatic. And once that penalty, it's a touchdown. Put 7 points on the board, because when you play a really good team, they always make you pay for making those crucial mistakes. So once you have that penalty, and then once Fields fumbles the ball and it's 10-0, it's kind of they were not able to respond from that. They were punched in the face early, and they had no counter to it. The defense, I think there's a lot. Jermaine Johnson got injured, and now I don't know what's up with him, but at edge, there's just nothing besides Will McDonald. It's the same as last year now without Jermaine. There's just nothing. Barron, nothing. McGregor, nothing. They don't want to seem to play Will McDonald a lot. They like playing Clements as much as him. Don't get that. Sherwood, after getting paid, 2 really bad games. Michael Carter, is he good anymore? Seriously, because with Sherwood, it's been 2 games. So we'll see with Sherwood. He was still good last year. Was he good enough to be the 5th highest paid linebacker in football? Probably not, but he was a good player last year. Sherwood was. So I think he can bounce back eventually. But Carter, it's tough, because Carter, he was injured last year, all year, and he's been banged up so far this year. And now it's been like 20 games in a row. Michael Carter's been not good. So have those injuries just taken away the player that he used to be? Is that version of Michael Carter no longer exist? So if Jermaine Johnson's banged up and Michael Carter doesn't exist anymore in the way that we thought, the way that we remembered, and Jamie and Sherwood is not living up to that contract. Like those are variables that the Jets cannot overcome on this defense. For what it's worth, I think a guy like Cisco has been fine. He hasn't been great, but I think Cisco has been fine. Like he was signed to be a normal safety. I think he's done that. I think Quinnen. I think some of the defensive interior guys, honestly, I think they just got tired. They got gassed in the second half when the Jets just couldn't possess the ball for more than 5 seconds, and they allowed an egregious amount of yards. Last week I thought that the 34 points the Jets let up was not indicative of their defense. Their defense was a little bit better than that, just bad situationally, bad red zone. Today, I don't think the 30 whatever points that the Bills put up, I think it felt worse than that. It felt like they gave up 45 points. 250 yards of offense in the first half. Missed tackles, miscommunications. They just don't have the dudes to play cover one. They're grabby on defense. So defensively, I think going forward, like that's just a very concerning unit. 30 points you've allowed in back-to-back games. And Stevens completely gives up on the touchdown run with James Cook. I mean, bro, like, I don't know, man. Like, the dude he gave up the most amount of yards that a corner has ever given up since they began tracking it last year in his 4th year. And that was the first player. Like, they knew they were going to have a frugal offseason, right? They re-signed Sherwood. I think they got Fields. But the first like position player signing from another team, first priority was to sign Brandon Stevens to 2 years guaranteed for solid cornerback 2 money. That's not a serious signing. That's unserious. That's getting cute. That's signing a pet project to $12 million a year for 2 years. If you wanted, you were bidding against yourself. Nobody else is doing that. You can't convince me otherwise. And if you wanted to do it for fun, then do it on a 1-year deal, because now Brandon Stevens is going to be on the payroll next year for $12 million. For $12 million. He's not getting better. Jamie and Sherwood maybe can get better. The rookies maybe can get better. Brandon Stevens is not getting better. And defensive coaching bad. I mean, offensive coaching. You could have put genuinely, you could have been Mitch Trubisky out there, and we would have got boat raced. Quarterbacking not good. The first play on the 3rd down, Garrett Wilson wide open, you miss him, then you fumble on the next possession, and those 2 mistakes from Fields, it was kind of that was it, right? This Jets team just doesn't have the firepower, the margin for error to put themselves in multiple score holes in the beginning of the game. So another 0-2. And I don't think the season is over because, look, you just got to just find a way to beat the Bucs. Now, if they don't beat the Bucs, then it's kind of is over, unfortunately. But I still think maybe beat the Bucs, and then we're alive. But I think right now, I think if you were doing an objective power ranking, like you'd probably have the Jets as one of the bottom 5 teams in that ranking. Truthfully, they are 0-2 and they have a massively negative point differential. And I don't know. I just look at teams like the Colts. Like, how are the Colts 2-0, bro? With Daniel Jones, man. Come on. This was tough. This was tough because it didn't even, and the Bills were without Ed Oliver and Teron Johnson, arguably their 2 most valuable defensive players, and you put up 100 yards of offense in 55 minutes. That's nasty, man. This was egregious loss by the Jets. Good teams lose, but never like that. We still have consistent penalties. Players that shouldn't be here and no QB. I thought we didn't have to go through this again. Yeah, the penalties, just weird. Just the Clemens one, I think you have to Gibson him, because yes, it is true that it's like, okay, if he doesn't commit penalties, is he better than Barron and McGregor? Probably. But at this point, like saying if he doesn't commit penalties is just like, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Like, he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it, man. He's not gonna do it. He can't do it. He can't control himself. I mean, what a selfish play that was. Like, it's one thing to even Gibson's fumble, like, it's a mental lapse, it's annoying, it's frustrating, but it's not like you fumble on purpose. He did that on purpose. He committed that penalty on purpose. Sabotage his own team. It's disgraceful what he did. You cannot tell me you don't know that's a penalty with Michael Clemens. He doesn't care. You can't tell me you care about your teammates. You can't show up to work with me on Tuesday to go back to grind. I can't trust you. You're going to do something stupid to compromise us. Why are you here? Why is he here? He cannot be here anymore. I defended it. I typically don't defend horrible players. I really try not to do that. This is the longest rope. I don't know why. Of all players I picked, God. But no. No, he cannot be on the team because he's going to. If Barron and McGregor suck, but they just don't commit a penalty, then they're fine. They're better than Clemens. Oh, we didn't get the pressure. Okay, fine. Then just don't commit. 3rd and 19. And thank goodness it was a blowout game because you imagine you're going to be in close games. You're going to be in close games, and he's going to do that again. We all know in our soul, if we allow Michael Clemens to be on this team, there will be a close game this year that is tilted by him doing something stupid like that. We all know it. He has to go. He has to go. At the very least, you have to scratch him for a game. He cannot suit up next week. I don't care if you have to play Matt O'Leary at edge. He's got some size. All right. Matt O'Leary can play over Michael Clemens because at least Matt would just get like stuffed and thrown to the ground, but he wouldn't commit a penalty. I know it. I know if you swapped Freaky Friday style, if you put Matt O'Leary in Clemens' body right at that moment, Matt would go like this and he would avoid the penalty and he would jog to the sideline. I know he would. So you cannot be trusted any more than a podcaster. Michael Clemens, how do you? It's unserious. It's unserious if he's on this team. It's unserious to sign Brandon Stevens to $12 million just to like for fun, like as an act of rebellion. What? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I guess if you told me the Jets are going to start 0-2, like I wouldn't be shocked because again, my record prediction was 7-10, and they definitely still could be 7-10 for sure. Just the way you come out and lose that game, I think we all have seen losses like that, and it's hard for your mind not to go to those places. Yeah, Matt O'Leary at edge, Jake Asman. We got Jake Asman at wide receiver 2. I mean, I don't know how you even evaluate the pass catchers in this game. How many passes did they throw before garbage time? 11. And of the 11 passes, let's think. So one pass was the overthrow to Garrett. One pass was the Isaiah Davis, and that was when the game was over. Like Isaiah Davis, he should have caught it and fell down. Like it should have been a catch for 8 yards. But if Fields hits him earlier and hits him in stride, he's going up the boundary for 30 yards, and you would have got 3 points out of it. The game was kind of over then, really. And then what? I remember a pass being batted down. Like how many? What are we talking about? Like 5 actual pass attempts that we can actually evaluate in this game? I don't know. I know on one of the sacks, it was a sack on Fields missing an open receiver, holding the ball too long. Another sack was because Mason Taylor got completely destroyed by Joey Bosa. Another incompletion was a throwaway because Armand Membu got tossed by Bosa, and Fields just had to get rid of it. But yeah, that was that three passes in a row on that drive. It was wide open Isaiah Davis, missed, could have been 20 yards. Then it was Mason Taylor over the middle, like he has to jump and it touches his fingertips, but it's like, bro, he's in the NFL, it's a wide open pitch and catch. And then Membu is destroyed and Fields to throw it away, like 3 straight incompletions. That was right after the Fields 40-yard run. So a little bit of momentum, and then every time they got any sort of momentum, they just shot themselves in the foot. Like the play to Arian Smith, okay, I like that horizontal action, get him working. But again, when you see they are sending their corners, they're picking in the first half. They said, we're going to pick a side. We're going to run blitz a corner. We're going to rotate the safety to the other side. And we're going to give you an 8 to 10 yard completion if you dare to throw it on early downs. That's what they were doing, the Bills. Again, I've never seen that. I've never seen a team sell out on the run like that. It was insane. But obviously, that's going to be, you're not going to be able to do your horizontal motion because their corner is not respecting their pass coverage responsibility. That's why those things work, because they're going with the receiver like it's a route, and the receiver can engage them. If they're run blitzing, and even on the one play, it's like, oh, Lazard didn't even block him. It's like, dude, that's not how that works, man. That play, when you see that, it should be the coach telling in the quarterback's ear, or the quarterback just, or someone realizing it. And then just, it's a play fake. It's a toss to Lazard. He scampers for 12 yards, gets out of bounds, first down. You do that 2 or 3 more times, and then it makes them not able to do that anymore. They were toying with our coaching staff in that specific development there. That was crazy. It's not just penalties. Fields look terrible. Yeah, Fields did look terrible. I mean, it'd be easier to say like who didn't look terrible. I mean, the kickers, McNamara and Folk were good. Quinn and Williams, I'm sure, was good. I mean, I think the pass protection in the first half was fine, but then the Bills started blitzing in the second half, and the Jets had no answer for that. There was a couple of missed blitz pickup assignments. Yeah, it was bad. Jeremy Ruckert caught a touchdown. I think that was his first career touchdown. So far, I think he's caught everything thrown to him. But yeah, this was pretty bad, man. Yeah, Briggs had a nice run stuff. Yeah, again, like the Steelers, like us losing to the Steelers is just a referendum on our defense being ass. That was just like Aaron Rodgers tuning up Gerard Mayo last year. That's all that was, because I guess we have a bad defense. McGregor looked okay. Okay, I'll take your. I will rewatch this game, so I'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah, Lazard is waiting to be cut. For sure. If the offense and defense look this bad, they should just play the young guys and see what they got. Well, Clemens will get the axe this week, and then eventually, it'll just be like 5 players on the team. They'll cut like 5 guys that suck, Hunger Games style, each week. Yeah, Tony Adams got injured, so I guess that solves that. But I mean, yeah, I would want to see Arian Smith over Lazard. I know he didn't get that second foot in, but I was encouraging to see him make a strong contested catch and finish with the ball to the ground. He didn't get the ball, and his other target, he caught it and got upfield. So, I mean, the Lazard, the blocking factor, okay, but like, I think the other side of that coin is when you're subbing Arian Smith and Lazard, and you're telling the defense whether you're going to run or pass by which one of those guys is on the field. Is that really sustainable? Just play Arian Smith, and then at least you'll get, oh, the Arian Smith is coming in, or like they're going to do one thing or another, and then just do the other thing. I don't know, man. Like, is Lazard's blocking that elite? Maybe it is. Arian Smith was a scrappy blocker at Georgia. But yeah, the pass catching unit, it just really lacks speed outside of Garrett. It's definitely been apparent in both games. In the first game, even though they caught everything, like there's some tough dudes, there's some scrappy dudes. I don't think any of the wide receivers have any drops yet. The running backs have a couple, but like, Yeah, I would play Arian Smith. Like, what is playing Al Lazard benefit to this team? And Stevens, I would just pull the plug. Like, Stevens is going to be a big test of their ego. Again, the effort, and it's not like he was individually picked on in this game like he was in the first game, but he has to give such a big cushion to not get beat that a quarterback like Allen with the arm strength to throw it late is just those curl routes were just so easy. It was so easy. And him giving up on that touchdown run, and at that point the game was not over, was just so really disheartening to see. So what is playing Brandon Stevens benefit this team? And it's not like and guess what? If AZ Thomas plays, he's gonna struggle. He's gonna struggle, but you'd rather have your 21-year-old rookie struggling and developing and have those reps mean something than playing a guy just because you paid him. And I can't hear that it's early on Stevens. It's early on Mason Taylor. It's early on Arian Smith. It's early on Sherwood because we have evidence that he's been good. His 2 games he's struggling. It's not early on Brandon Stevens. It's not. He's not good at football. He's not good at football. He's not going to get good at football. So we gotta just cut bait with that and be all done with it. There's no way else to say it. I think there was a I don't know, like the scouting of your own talent that you had, because just keep jerking our Converse, resign Brandon Echols, whatever, draft JBC, break the pool stick, let him fight it out, have that guy play opposite sauce. You know, it's just like that's your biggest free agent acquisition. Is kind of tough. Because it's going to be a conversation every week until they bench him or he miraculously figures it out. Today was like last year, yeah. It was like the last time they played the Bills, right? Which was the last time a competent team that was actually trying to win played against them. And that was when they were down 40-0 until Tyrod Taylor came in. So it was very similar to that to last year. You're right. The amount of uncalled, I will agree. Justin Fields is egregiously officiated. It's BS. I would agree with that. That sliding penalty would have been an injection if a Jet player did it to Josh Allen. You're 100% right. Can we have that Jet? Was that a Monday night? Jets Dolphins? Yeah, they'll probably tie. Dude, I honestly think, dude, I think your Dolphins look worse than the Jets. Crazy as it is to say. Yeah. The whole division outside of Buffalo is pretty horrible, to be honest, because the Patriots only beat the Dolphins by 1 score, and they don't look very good. This also terrible calling to fire Glenn already is kind of crazy. Well, if anyone's doing, I mean, I don't, they're not going to fire Glenn. They're not going to fire him at the end of this year unless they go like 0-17. So, it's week to week. We're just reacting to what happens. Obviously, this is a very poor effort from the Jets coaching staff, and obviously nobody's getting fired. And it's tough because I don't know. Like if the Jets were some team, if they went all in, right, and maybe they made a late playoff push or even like won a Super Bowl or something like the Buccaneers do with Brady or whatever. And then you start over and you go cheaper and younger and you start 0-2. I think it'd be different. It's just it's tough, the accumulation of the playoff drought, and you see the stadium and it's like, man, like and typically late in the year, if it's the Jets are out of it, it's gonna be 50% Bills fans. But dude, that stadium was like half blue. And I can't. How can I be mad at Jet fans? Like why? Like a lot of us don't even live in the area. Like I got to get on a plane to go see the Jets. I'm not going to spend a combined 17 hours in my car. So to spend your whole weekend doing that if you're not local is like, and the money is I can't blame anyone for that. I remember being at the Jets game, and then you look at the atmosphere week one before Rodgers went down. Like that is what Jet fans are capable of if they believe there's a product worth selling. Jet fans would have the most electric home environment. I, I remember being at I remember being in high school and being at the week two home opener versus the Patriots. The Patriots couldn't even get a playoff because it was so loud. Um, and now it's like you don't even get a home field advantage because like the Steelers fans were like 40%, Bills fans 40%. I see the instead of 600 people in the live stream, it's 250. Like I think a lot of Jet fans are just checked out, man. But we persist. We persist. I'll never quit this team. If I did, I would quit football. I never go to a new team. But nah, man. When the Jets finally turn around, it will taste sweeter than any other franchise's victories combined. Like a Jet Super Bowl would be worth like 5 championships for any normal fan base from what we've seen. You're correct. What did I text you? I forgot. Oh, yeah. I won't be saying that on my live stream, but yeah, I thought of that when it happened too. I'm like, of course, this is how it's gonna go. Could this be the worst defense the Jets have had in a decade? No, it probably won't be worse than 2021 because 2021 they literally had the worst defense in the NFL, and that was like when they had like Brashad Basham or whatever as their number one edge, and their number one corner was whatever Will Parkinson. So it it won't be that bad, but dude, but look, Bob Saleh was a very bad head coach, but he was a great defensive coordinator, and he has better defensive acumen than Glenn and then Wilkes. And I'm saying that already going into the year. Like already going into the year, I was like, we're gonna miss Bob Saleh's defensive acumen, but obviously we're not gonna miss his everything else. So you're hoping everything else gets better. But I already came into the year thinking that the defensive coaching was probably going to not Ulbrich because Ulbrich that was a complete, but I'm talking about the 2 years in 2022, 2023 up to the first 5 games of 2024. The Jets had anywhere from a top 3 to 10 defense throughout that whole stretch. It took him 1 year, it sucked, and then he got the guys in he wanted and he cooked it up. So, now to be fair to Glenn and Wilkes, this is their first year, so maybe they got to get the guys they want and all that. But still, the talent that they inherited is not nearly as bad. Like there wasn't even players like Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Sauce Gardner, Quincy. Like there was none of those guys. It was Quinnen, and that's it. So the defense shouldn't be this bad. It shouldn't. Yeah, it's tough because like we'll see what happens with the accountability and everything, but I don't even think it was an like a discipline issue. It's just like it's bad. Justin Fields does have a concussion confirmed. So with the new rules, typically guys miss a week. So we'll see what it looks like with Tyrod Taylor, I guess. Can't play man all game. Yeah, the cover one. Well, especially when you're, you know, look, who do they have that's adequate in man coverage. Sauce, who didn't have a good game, but Sauce obviously is very good in man coverage. And then like Michael Carter used to be, but not anymore. You used to when the Jets used to run cover one, they ran a lot of cover one under. Everyone runs cover three and cover one. So even the team that's like you can look at the team that runs the most cover one in the NFL or the least cover one, the difference is like 8 percentage points because everybody's in cover three or cover one, besides a couple teams that are still on that like Tampa 2, but it's mostly cover three and cover one. Cover one on third downs a lot. But yeah, man, like dude, Stevens, bad. Carter is now bad, I guess. Tony Adams bad. Cisco okay in man coverage and Sauce good. So you have 3 out of your 5 guys, and then Sherwood's been bad. So of your back 7, like 4 of them are bad in have been bad in man coverage. One of them is okay, and 2 of them are good, and like Sauce and Quincy. So that's going to be tough. Isaiah Davis dropped a couple passes. Yeah, that new kick returner was buns as well. When Isaiah Davis got the kick returns, he did pretty well, but that new guy Williams they picked up was horrendous. But he didn't fumble, so that is better than Gibson. I'm starting to believe that the talent we think we have isn't really that talented, and the coaches aren't really that good. Maybe. I'll wait one more week. If they lose by double digits to Tampa, then yeah, I'll be right with you there, brother. Trade for Neighbors. Why would the Giants trade Neighbors? That guy is he's gonna be like a top 5 receiver soon. Yeah, they're not trading Sauce. They're not blowing any. They're not. It's week 2. They're not trading. They're not trading Sauce Gardner at the deadline. Also, if you extend a player and immediately trade them, financially it screws you. It doesn't even make any sense. Clemens, yeah. Well, the thing is, Clemens he clearly doesn't have the right like ratio of ligaments to bones in his body. He kind of runs like a Minecraft character. So that is a persistent issue limiting his ability to be good at football. Gardner was playing with an injury. Well, I was watching with an injury as well. People keep saying we need another receiver. I mean, yeah, we threw what? What do we throw? 10 passes? I mean, how many drop back? I mean, we do need another receiver. Like obviously Tyler Johnson, or whatever, as your second receiver is horrible. But what in this game, like if that was if that was anyone's takeaway from this game, I don't know what to say. When they threw 10 passes and which plays where it was like, oh man, somebody else needs to get open. Like maybe one play. Was that the case in this game? Again, like yes, but whatever. Do we have bad players because we can't coach them up to NFL standards, or we just have bad luck picking? I mean, in general, of why the Jets have been bad for 15 years, obviously a collection of both. I mean, really the issue has been it's just their owner. I mean, I know nobody likes to go back to the Woody thing because it's not changing. So it's just once you get to the Woody complaining part of the season, it's just really just it's just moaning and just to moan and gripe about it. But I don't like just organizationally, like to their core, I don't there's just structural the soul of the team is rotten. It really is. And until I don't know how that changes because a lot of other teams that turn it around, the Bills, they turned it around when the Pagulas bought the team. And the Lions changed ownership and the Commanders changed ownership. I'm trying to think of the last team that went from sucky for a really long time to good without a change in ownership. There's got to be one. There's got to be one. Who else has sucked and now they're okay? I mean, the Bengals, but dude, let's call it what it is. They got lucky and they drafted Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase because other than that, they're still kind of run like not well, to be honest. They just got a generational QB fall. Well, maybe not generational, but they got a very good, like a guy who could win MVPs level QB. And then one year, and then the next year, right? It was the best receiver prospect in a long time. And they paired those two together, and it's covered for a lot of other Bengals type stuff. Now Joe Burrow is hurt again because they can't put an offensive line in front of him. They didn't make the playoffs last year. So I don't even think that was like a complete organizational turnaround. That was just you got Joe Burrow. So maybe that's our path. Maybe we get a Joe Burrow. We should do an experiment. We should let's just see. Like, just put Josh Allen on the Jets. I just want to see. I'm just curious. I just want to see how it would go. How deep is it? But I'm obviously, besides ownership, which seems I don't know how you get around it. The top guy. But I'm obviously at coach and at head coach and at quarterback. If you have those two things squared away, a lot of other things can be fine. So that's the two things we're trying to figure out. And I definitely think it is an overreaction to say that Aaron Glenn is not a good head coach after 2 games. Fields, let's be honest, he's played like 50 games. So if you're not he was kind of a cross your fingers, hope it works out kind of thing. Hopefully he could bounce back and be serviceable. Obviously he's probably going to be in the middle of week 1 and week 2, which will be a fine bridge level quarterback. So I don't think it's an overreaction to Fields because he does have a big sample size in the NFL. So whatever we think of him, you think of him. Fair is fair. But I think Glenn, no, that's probably an overreaction. Engstrand is definitely an overreaction because he had a really good week 1. Steve Wilkes, maybe not so much because the guy gets fired every year. He has a job, he gets fired the next year. So maybe he stinks. My friend who's a 49ers fan has been adamant since the spring that this guy is buns. But I was like, well, look, because when he was your defense, you had the number 10. And he's like, no, dude, he's buns. So maybe he's buns. But Aaron Glenn has only had 2 games. And it's too soon to be panicking on Glenn. I really wish they got that week 1 win because it would just really take the ease off of this beatdown, I know we are a work in progress, but we want to be competitive. However, no one showed up today. Not even the coach is very disappointed. Yeah, just right from the jump, right? And you're like, oh no, Fields has the jitters. The run game doesn't. Well, every game you could tell the first play. I remember before. Now it didn't really come true, but before the week 1 game, I was like, the first play is going to be a handoff to Breece Hall, and that will tell you how the entire game is going to go. In the first play against Steelers, Breece Hall goes for 11 or 18 yards. In this one, he was like stuffed right away, and you're like, oh, here we go. But man, yeah, again, I've never seen a team do what the Bills are doing with their corners. I'm like, how is nobody? And maybe I'll rewatch the all 22 and I'll see a different angle that it wasn't as egregious. But again, single high safety, run blitzing your corners, saying, if you want to just take it real quick and pitch it out to your receiver, it's going to be a minute before that safety comes down. You can have a free 8 yards. You can have a free 8 yards because the Jets have graduated from run, pass to run, pass, run. It's a little different. And the Bills were on to that, man. The Bills were on to that. You know, Sean McDermott, will he lose to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs again? Yes. But in the meantime, he knows what he's like. If he sees an obvious thing, he's going to figure it out. The Bengals actually won that game against the Jaguars. I know you weren't allowed to say it, but Alex was in here. Alex, if you're still in here, you can back me up. We talked about this. Trading up, mortgaging your next year's draft to draft Travis Hunter was an egregious decision by the Jaguars. Like, yeah, he plays 2 positions. Great. He's not going to start for you both ways at the NFL. So does he do either at an elite level? No, he doesn't. Sorry, he wasn't a Jamar Chase level wide receiver prospect. He wasn't a Stingley Sauce level corner prospect. He was like a Garrett Wilson level wide receiver prospect and like a JC Horn level cornerback prospect. So pick one. He's worth a top 15 pick. Trading a future first for a team that's probably not going to make the playoffs was horrific decision by the Jaguars when they had offers to trade down and get more picks. Coming up to get him was horrible. I will stand on that. You are expected to be 0-3 to start the season. Try to relax. This is expected. Dude, why do we have to be that? But bro, yeah, the Jets were, you are correct. The Jets were underdogs in all 3 of these games to start the year. We're already marking up 0-3. You haven't even flown to Tampa yet. But bro, why are we the only team that has to accept that? You're gonna be 0-3 and it's like you're supposed to be happy? Again, I don't think we're gonna make a deep playoff run, but like 0-3 would suck, man. Like 0-3 would suck. There's no way around it. 1-2 is so much better than 0-3. Like, why are we the only fan base that is told that you have to be happy if you go 0-3? Why? It's crazy, man. I see Chiefs fans on Twitter freaking out on Veach. Oh my god, we have no running backs. What are they doing? They got like 3 Super Bowls. I got Bills fan coworkers want to fire McDermott every other week. Every other week they go back and forth. They want to fire McDermott. He's won the division since like the invention of the printing press. He's won the division. I was like a different person before John McDermott won the division every year. But for Jet fans, it's like people say, "Oh, of course, well, Jet fans are overreacting. Of course, Jet fans are negative." It's like, dude, no one else would even be here, bro. What are you talking about? Jet fans are no one else would even be here. No one would still be here. Like if you're still here and you're a Jet fan, and even if every comment is negative and you're like, "I hate this team," blah, 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 you are still delusionally hopeful because you're still around. If you know enough about this game to be complaining about it, it means you watched it. You still are delusionally optimistic. There's no way around it. Jeff, a sliver of hope. Jet fans got like emotionally bonded to Joe Douglas and Aaron Rodgers because they at least gave us hope. That's how low the bar is. Aaron Rodgers became like a martyr in Jet fandom. because he threw like 3 touchdown passes against the Jacksonville Jaguars on December 31st to go 5 in 168. And Joe Douglas did the neat trick of, I'm going to be so bad I get the number 8 pick every year. I'm going to pick a good player. And it's like, hey, I picked a good player. I'm back next year. What about the rest of the drafted free agency? Shit, I picked that one good player next year. Oh, we talked again. Okay, cool. 9th pick. Another good player. Put it on the list. The last guy didn't take any good players. I took one. That's how low the bar is, man. I don't want to hear Jeff. I don't want to. I'm not doing that to you guys this year. I'm not policing it. I'm not telling anyone to think positive thoughts. Not like not crash out. It's you do what you got to do, man. If you're still around, supporting the channel, watching the team, cheers. Mm-mm. Glenn did not questioning well. Yeah, I'm really gonna try not to get too much into that. I did it too much with Salah. Like you're hanging on every word they say, and it gets exhausting. So yeah, I mean he's definitely not friendly with the beat reporters, but I don't think that's going to make a difference one way or the other. You know, if he does well, then it will be like, yo, he dunked on Rich Samini. Let's go. That's my coach. And if he does poorly, then the jokes will write themselves, but it doesn't matter. You know, it's like Salah. Like Salah had his slogans, but it's the same things apply. Like I'm sure Jim Harbaugh or whatever has slogans, but it's fine because he's a successful coach. It's going to get much worse. Oh man. Tampa Bay has great receivers. Yeah, well, that kid at Ohio State is awesome. Mike Evans is like in his 58th year and he's still good. Salah gave the Bills problems. He had his moments when it was the offensive coordinator before Joe Brady. I forget who it was, but Salah kind of had that guy's number for like 2 years. But yeah. We can still turn it around. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they can. I am waiting until week 3 because if they somehow beat the Bucks, I wonder what the early spread is. I'm gonna guess the Bucks are probably like 8-point favorites. Wow, 5.5. Okay, I thought it would be more on the road. Okay, so beat the Bucks. However you do it, whoever ugly it looks, beat them, and then and then you're playing Miami and you're a favorite, and then you win a divisional game and you're 2-2. That's the path. If you lose to the Bucks and it's a double-digit loss, then it's the whatever the reactions are going to be probably justified. It's just the way it is. Buffalo is a good team though. Yeah, but I don't even it wasn't even about that. It was almost like the opponent didn't matter today. Like they just did not show up to play. You could have Buffalo was out their 2 best defensive players. You could have put Mitch Trubisky in there. We still would have lost. Like, does anyone doubt that? Does anyone doubt that Mitch Trubisky playing for Josh Allen would have changed the outcome of this game? I don't. You could put Terod Taylor in there versus Mitch Trubisky. It would it wouldn't have mattered. Justin Fields fan on Twitter retiring from being. Yeah, did anyone think that kid was going to make it? That kid was never going to be able to see this through. That's why, again, with like the Justin Fields fan crew, that's why I get even after week 1, I'm like, guys, I know what you're about to you. I told them, I'm like, you by Halloween, you're going to say the Jets are a hoarder organization who should be condemned. Every Jet fan I hate. Like, I already knew they were going to be doing that. Like, you could see it coming a mile away. And in week 1, this is who Fields always was. He was always great. He just needed an offensive coordinator to whisper sweet nothings in his ear. And after week 2, it's like this is 100% everyone else's fault. Like, regardless of how we like want to feel about it, but that's how they are going. That's what they're going to do. It's just like the Zach Wilson fan club, the Aaron Rodgers fans. Like, I know how this ends, so I'm not. You guys just do you. You guys do you, man. Because if we're gonna commiserate about the team, I want it to be other Jeff fans. I don't need a Bears fan to tell me how my team sucks. All right, your team just got 55 points hung on their head. Actually, I do. I like Bears fans. I like Bears Twitter. I will actually, at listening to Bears fan podcasts after Jet losses is great because it's like the same script, but you just change the characters. I'm gonna listen to some good ones tonight. Some good Bears fans podcasts. It's great. It's like a different perspective on the Jets almost. It's stunningly accurate. Well, I agree with that, Billy. Like 1 and 2 is way different than 0 and 3. 1 and 2, it's like okay. 1 and 2, and we're back, man. Yeah, Fields ball placement didn't really have it today. Whole team just like insane. Stevens played better this week. Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice him getting picked on in man coverage like last week, but that play, and you know what? Maybe I should double check because there's been a few times where I got Adams and Stevens confused because they're 21 and 22, and they kind of have similar build. But I'm pretty sure it was Stevens who completely gave up on that run play. Wide receivers were open today. Fields reverted back to Zach. I mean, the only one I got a clear replay of was one of the third downs where he ended up getting sacked and he had Garrett Wilson for a hook over the middle. The other ones, it's really hard to tell on broadcast. So I'll take your word for it. Yeah, he didn't. Again, all of the words you would use to describe his first game, you could use the opposite ones to describe this. Yeah, not being able to. luck into a playoff appearance in 15 years. Yeah, it almost is impressive. Like just by chance, you would think you'd be able to, especially now with the seventh seed. But again, like I'm watching the Colts win. I'm like, how did the Colts have 29 points against the good Broncos defense with Daniel Jones? How? Daniel Jones is going to win comeback player of the year. He's been good so far this year. Have you talked about the O-line? I mean, obviously they got absolutely no push in the run game. Um, I thought the pass protection was fine up until late when the Bills started blitzing. But I mean, you, I'm sure, as Aaron Glenn says, when you watch the tape, I'm sure whenever you watch this game, it's not going to be great from the offensive line when you score 3 points in 55 minutes. You probably didn't really have a lot of good offensive performances. Even Garrett Wilson, that one play, like he has the curl and then he falls down. And why is it like, okay, maybe we just have crappy turf, but why is it Jets players specifically more than their opponent have trouble with footing on their home turf? Am I crazy? Do you notice that? Why are our guys slipping and falling way more than the opponent? Do they not have the right cleats for their own home? This is their home. I know it's not their practice field, but it's your home turf. It's like a slip and slide. Maybe the players on the other team are slipping too. I just don't pay attention to it as much. But Sauce never be the guy that will tackle. He's soft. I mean the one play that was disheartening from Sauce was he gets teed up a perfectly easy blitz to Josh Allen. I know Josh Allen's a big athletic guy, but dude, you had him dead to rights, man. That has to be a strip sack. Quinnen, I mean, but yeah, but what D tackle like, dude? If when your game is like this, it's the nature of the position. When you're getting washed off the field like this, your defensive tackle is not going to stand out. It is what it is. What did Dexter Lawrence do today? As the Giants were getting 40 hung on them, Dexter Lawrence is still an individually good player. It's not wide receiver or edge where you're going to be able to rise above that unless you're Aaron Donald or Chris Jones. So it just kind of is what it is on Quinnen. I mean, was he that bad today? I'm genuine. Was Quinn Williams really that bad today? Maybe he was. His bad leader. Like, what does Quinn do that's bad leadership? I don't really understand. Yeah, Clement. Well, and Clemens has doesn't have any redeeming qualities. Which's the difference? Is anyone surprised how bad we are? I'm surprised how bad the defense has been through 2 weeks. That's probably the only thing that surprised me so far. Sauce is better than Antonio Cromartie. Come on. I mean, Cromartie had better ball skills, but Cromartie was a gambler. Like he wasn't really a shutdown corner. He was a playmaking corner. Detroit. Oh, did they not change ownership? Pagula had nothing to do with it. Well, he put the right people in place. Maybe he cares about the Bills more than the Sabres. I don't know. Like, is it when did he buy the Bills? 2014. So they had the longest playoff drought in sports. And then he buys it, and 2 years later they break the playoff drought. A year later they draft their franchise QB. Maybe it's a coincidence, but seems kind of unlikely. Chiefs were bad before Andy Reid, but were they like a disgrace? All right. We gotta get our Andy Reid. You can't get that solid taste out of your mouth with 2 games. Yeah, I hear you, man. Josh Allen on the Jets, 10 wins. Yeah. I want to see it, man. So I want to see it. I want to see like what would it look like if you just picked like an already known good coach and quarterback on the Jets. So if I had Pete Carroll, how are the Raiders doing? Oh, they play Monday night. I was down for Pete, but we don't got to start rehashing that just yet. I mean, obviously that's a shorter term solution, probably. Well, poor soul, we're gonna ruin at QB next year. Probably John Mateer. Yeah, that is true. It's a good comp for the Raiders. They have an established coach and a QB we know is solid. Let's see how they do this year. Membu dominated by Bosa. I saw one rep where he really just discarded him for the sack, but I don't know if it was more than that. I mean, again, how many dropbacks did they even have to judge? Like 10? Why are we talking about Zach Wilson? JJ was injured. I'll leave it there. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Put a thumbs up on your way out. That'd be cool. And we will talk. Jet soon.